Willette, and I am the Enchanted Goddess. I am a writer and author of poems, and I also formed the Enchanted Goddess Literary Creative Arts community. I started with reading and writing down my dreams. I used inspiration notebooks, which I've kept for quite a few years, and also illustrated dream binders. I find that this gives images, give words to our dreams. I feel very deeply connected to the divine feminine. When I was growing up, I wondered, where is she, the face of she in everyday life and divinity? Where are her superpowers? I admired people like Madame Curie. There are very few role models of women, St. Joan of Arc. And then I looked through mysticism and magic, like the fairies and the angels. About 7 years ago, I started this journey after I turned 50. And I realized that the landscape of my life was changing dramatically. One of the people that really had deep impact on my journey was the author Sark. I started taking her writing course about a year and a half ago, and I felt that she had jumped off the pages of her books and right into my life, and that really inspired me. But I didn't know what was my next step. And then stepped in Audrey Dimola, who has been magical in my life. She gave me courage to write and to perform in open mics, as well as Ada, who founded Boundless Tales, has been a wonderful role model for me as well. And when I went around to the different groups, I found that there was a niche for women who were at a trajectory in their lives that needed to be filled. And that's where the Enchanted Goddess comes in. I'm going to read you something. The Enchanted Goddess was formed to give women voices to their dreams and to access the divine feminine in their lives, and to give words and community to create the life that they long for. The Enchanted Goddess reclaims her divine superpowers through creativity and transforms lives. I've seen this with the women that I've come in contact with. They're looking for that time in their lives in which to change and to transform. The mission of the Enchanted Goddess is to celebrate the magnificence and divine feminine in women's lives, to provide inspiration and soul nourishment, as well as a creative community to celebrate and transform their lives and in their community. I've watched women literally open up like blossoms with their faces to the sun. I see sparkle and I see joy in these women's lives. It's so fulfilling to see them step out into their lives with hopes and dreams. I have 2 groups. One is the Enchanted Goddess Writing Series, which is held at the Becht, and it's a 2-hour series where we sit at a community table, we talk, we share our lives, and we get to know each other at a deeper level. And then I provide writing prompts, and we start to write. Sometimes we'll each write a sentence and we'll have a collaborative poem. Other times it could be from a picture of a card, and they see what comes up. Then I have the Enchanted Goddess Reading Series, which is held at the Astoria Bake Shop. And the women, there's such joy there. We sit in a circle, they hold their books proudly. The book that I'm reading right now with them is A Woman's Worth by Marianne Williamson, and it's fantastic. And my 3 to 5 year plan with the Enchanted Goddess, I find that I'd like to have the group become more proactive in the community to mentor younger women, starting other enchanted goddess groups, have an online community and a formalized course where I would create a workbook and move into that with including more and more women in the Enchanted Goddess movement. And is it a movement? Absolutely. It's a revolution. Women have woken up. Dr. Christian Northrup wrote in a book, Ageless Goddess, Goddesses Don't Age. There's never been a better time to be a woman right now. And I sincerely believe that once we connect with the divine feminine that is in us, our superpower, and join it with creativity, we have jet fuel for transformation in our lives. Women are born creators. We create in our homes. We create in our relationships. We make things. We make our clothes. We paint, we draw, we read, we nurture. There's so many different roles in our lives, but how do we fill up the well? And this is where the Enchanted Goddess community comes in. Don't quit before the miracle.
My name is James Faber, born and raised in Brooklyn. I'm an artist, but I have a tendency to think of myself more as a creator. Art is just one of the many creative avenues I can take. For me, it's just a way of expressing myself. It's a way of relieving tension in a lot of ways. It's a way of dealing with feelings that I don't necessarily know how to express any other way than with putting paint to a canvas and having my visions, things that I see in my mind's eye, come out. I generally use art and any type of creativity to express any of my feelings. It all comes out through my hands. I've always been someone to scribble on the walls of the house as a child. I've always scribbled and sketched. In terms of taking it seriously as a hobby, I would say about maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I decided for my girlfriend at the time as a birthday gift I would paint a portrait of her. I don't know, professionally, it's not necessarily something that I feel it's what I want, but it continues when I do get a chance to paint. It's been a lot more difficult lately, but when I do paint, it's incredibly therapeutic, and I love it. That's the thing that I am somewhat afraid of, that it becoming a chore or feeling like it's a job, like it's something that I have to do. I'm trying to avoid. To me, it's precious right now as a hobby. The challenges for me have always been, just basic learning of skill. And it's not so much a challenge, it's just finding the dedication and time to actually sit down and practice. The artwork, I think, in a lot of ways saved my life. I don't mean to make it sound dramatic, but it really did, I think, save my sanity. When my father was sick, he passed away last year when he was sick, and up until the point that he died and after, I really spent a lot of time doing art and just pouring all the feelings into every stroke on the canvas, every color, anything that I put down. It was me sort of pouring my feelings out. It really gave me something to look forward to in some of the darkest days in the last couple of years. It's been amazing. I feel like I have to definitely get back into it. I've been influenced over time with different styles, and then during that time of looking into and doing research into those styles of art, I found artists that inspire me, someone like Pablo Picasso. By looking at his art, I can feel the sort of adventurous nature in his spirit and his abilities and what the things that he's done. But inspiration comes from anywhere. I mean, literally walking down the sidewalk, I can see a pattern in the sky or on the ground, and that will lead to anything. I mean, most of my paintings that I've done in the last year have come from just seeing something, a pattern, and then that turning into ideas or a concept. I do listen to music when I paint sometimes. It's generally when the painting doesn't involve intense focus on any specific thing. So if I'm not working on fine detail, this painting, I'm playing a lot more now with like lines and colors. I originally wanted to do something that had more straight lines, but this I feel is sort of a representation of involving with all the I want to say recent news, but I feel it's more of like a media, like a sort of mass media thing to say what's going on in the current climate, whether it's racial issues or political issues. I think all those things are happening all the time. So this painting is more or less a reflection of, I guess, the general feeling, those feelings, like the red is sort of anger, and the green is more, a little more passive, and the violet, being more of a in a sense, regal thing. So we're involving all different types of elements. Painting, for me, is just an explosion of expression. It's just whatever I want to happen. 3 to 5 years from now, I see myself, I want to spend more time on things that I really, my sort of dream projects. I want to make art accessible. There's one in particular face that actually is less of a blank and more of a frown, which at the time for me I felt represented me. And this time I was really sort of depressed. I was dealing with my dad's illness, and it just sort of brought me down. Don't get discouraged and never stop learning. Never stop challenging yourself. Always try and never be afraid to fail. There's no right or wrong way to do art, I feel like it's something that comes directly from who you are inside. In a way it's a spiritual thing. What you want won't exist until you create it, which has been my unspoken philosophy my entire life, that if you want that thing, you have to create if it doesn't exist. That no one is going to do it for you, and if someone does, it won't necessarily be the way you want it. So if you want something, whether it's an actual physical object or the type of life you have, it applies universally. You have to go out and create it. And if you don't know how to create it, you have to try. You have to stumble, you have to learn.
My name is Carol Jaima. I'm from Taiwan. I started music the first lesson for piano when I was 3, and I started my first violin lesson when I was 4. Growing up, I've been in music school all my life, so I came here to study my graduate school in Baltimore, Maryland. I came here in 2001. That's when I actually started having contact with in jazz as well, because my background is classical music. So at the time I actually also taking the jazz lessons, playing the big band, and joined the improvising class, and it's something really fun to me. I came here in 2008, moved from Baltimore to New York. I actually started working as a retail person. I worked in Fendi, and then I really wanted to pursue my dream as a violinist. So during working at the retail, I had already playing in the orchestra and playing gigs at night. So once I left my job, I started really trying to pursue music full-time. That was around 2010. And I've been playing since and working as a full-time musician. Throughout the years, I have many musicians and models that I admire, like famous Joshua Eifitz, Isaac Perman, and later on, actually, when I was in Maryland, my model is Stefan Grappelli, and he's a jazz violinist. He really inspired me a lot, the way he plays. It's the last time I played this piece, a lot of Christian would know. And growing up in church, I always play that. And one day my church was just asking me to do a version of it. So I started arranging my own version. And I've been playing for 2 Christmas already in other concerts for my own original arrangement. Actually, it's called the theme and variation on that. Growing up in Taiwan, as a student, you always have a goal to follow and to achieve. And once I finished my graduate school, seems like the goal is reached, and all of a sudden I felt a little lost. There's no more goal needs to be met, seemed like to me at the time, and no more weekly lessons I have to attend. So that was the time that I actually had to make up my mind what I really want to do, what I'm really passionate about. And I found music, after all, still is the love of my life, and I decided to pursue music full-time after that. When I'm not performing, I rehearse with my friends. We sometimes play in the subways. Also, sometimes we go to museums. At nighttime, we go to some shows to see other musicians perform as well. I do teach children. Most of the kids I teach are generally aged from about 4 to 17, 18 years old. I do love teaching. I teach actually both piano and violin. To see kids follow the steps and learning step by step, and from knowing nothing about the instrument to able to perform a song in front of their parents, or the summer or the Christmas concerts, that's really rewarding. As a kid, I always wanted to perform on their international stage with thousands of people, and by me being in New York, I think it's really stepped much closer for this dream to come true. And my dream, in 5 years, I would love to perform with a famous artist, collaborate with them, or have my own concerts, performance on the stage. Actually, I've been already doing it. I performed with 2 famous artists in New York just a couple months back. As a musician, it's really inspiring, just being on the stage and sharing the same energy and from the heart, and just playing the music and being able to move the audience and touch people. It's a great experience. I think the most important is to make sure you do well on your instrument, you know your instrument, but also, as importantly, is the networking. In New York, it's all about networking. Who do you know? And show the professionalism as a musician is quite important as well. Believe in what you do and do it with all your heart. do it 100%. I think that's the key in every career that you choose to do.
My name is Dominick Dimola. I'm a videographer in New York, and I mostly film bands. I do some interview work with artists around New York, poets, but mostly musicians. In high school I took a photography class where there was like a dark room, and they got us to like get our hands on the cameras, learn depth of field and the lenses and all those kind of things. So that's like when I first started to actually get into photography. But with video, I always grew up watching movies on TV, and my dad bought a lot of DVDs for me, and I loved the bonus features, watching people how they did the movies and all that. So I really got into that. I'd video here and there, take photos here and there just for fun, but it wasn't until I was in college where I put it as my major that I really took it more seriously. When I graduated college, I bought my camera to do videos with a bunch of my friends that I had, and they all kind of like split off in their own directions, and I was left with my camera. I thought I was gonna have these people to have a production company with, but I reached out to a few people here and there, but they weren't as committed as I was trying to be. So for a while I let it slide, and I needed to make money, I needed to do whatever. But I always had that thing that I didn't want to do it by myself, because with video and editing and production, you can only do so much by yourself, because there's sound, there's lighting, there's editing, there's this and that. So I just got to the point this year really where I started picking it up again, just being okay with trying to do it myself, however it is. I'm pretty much a perfectionist. I like everything perfect, and I'm kind of trying to put that to the side to just be able to let me do something, see if people want to catch on, approach me to be partners, work on other projects. Because right now I'm just open to doing whatever with cool people to see where things can lead to. Yeah, I'm doing everything by myself. I started out, I reached out to my sister Audrey to help out with what I was doing. And then I realized, I was like, oh, I'll give her her own show so she can have more passion behind it, rather than being my thing that she's helping me with. We have one video up with this poet musician, Mark Fleury, and we have a couple more that we're gonna put up.
Hanging out.
But it's the same sort of thing like I did before, the interview / performance / promotional videos. Anything else I would want to do, I'm up for doing anything. Recently I hooked up with one of my friends from middle school. He has a podcast. It's like a nerdy podcast. And they were wanting to do videos, so I've been doing that with them. Went to this anime convention, and I was filming for them, interviewing voice actors and directors and things who were there. But yeah, if someone approaches me with something, I'm glad to do it if I can figure it out, and if I can find someone else to come through with another camera, that would even be better. Because it's all time and money, that's the thing with everyone, because people aren't really willing to do things for free. I'm trying to do things for free so I can do something. I'm cheap. I have friends from college that are like, what are you doing? You're supposed to charge people thousands of dollars, especially you're bringing your camera, you're bringing your stuff. And I'm like, people don't have money like that. And if I want to be able to do things, especially musicians, I love filming bands and live shows, and bands don't have that kind of money, So and you get to meet the bands, you get to go to the shows, you get paid to film the show, and it's not a ridiculous amount of money, but it's still something I love doing. And other videographers, I've met some, and it's very competitive and very like you have to fight. I don't know. I'm just really relaxed. I just go film. Here you are. Well, I have a part-time job, which is kind of miserable, but it pays some bills that I have. My goal is to be happy. That's my one goal. Just to be content where I am, wherever I am, however I am. Just to still be doing it, to still be happy doing it. Yeah. I'm looking into doing more documentaries because I really like doing that. Or also I'm reaching out to people to do like skits, like shorts, maybe like 5-10 minute like mini pieces. But with that you need a crew. Chill. I don't know. I'm not very competitive. I don't like tooting my own horn or anything like that. Just kind of like trying to collaborate with people and make something cool, make something new. Big inspiration to me is Dave Grohl, who's the lead singer of Foo Fighters. He was in Nirvana. He put out a music documentary recently about this like soundboard and how he's getting all these artists together. And then he just made an HBO show that was also sort of documentary. And in one of the pieces in the interview, like he's saying to people about how like American Idol and all those things are kind of boxing people in. Like they have how the world is supposed to be and how the industry is supposed to be, and people try to box themselves in and they judge what they're doing and they don't think it's good enough because they're looking at everything else around them. And he's just saying how just do what you love, like let it come straight out of you, don't overthink it, just do it, like put it out. And if you like it and if you love it at least a little bit, there's probably at least 2 other people in the world, you know. There's someone else out there that'll love the same thing and have the same interests that you do in it. So basically I would just tell people don't judge themselves, just do what they love and just put it out there. Because you can get very in your head and you can judge yourself and judge the things you're doing. But when you have another person who takes interest in it, it gives you motivation to keep doing it. Favorite saying? I have a funny favorite saying. Life's a garden, dig it, and keep on keeping on.